Earth 2029.
A lot has happened in the last 10 years. Wars, diseases, and cyber attacks.
The world will never be the same ever again.
After Russia restarts, the war against all nations. On this day, two alliances were formed to start World War III. After spending hours on a call, the two presidents will decide to launch the most coordinated attack ever seen before, uniting their military power and artillery for the mass destruction of several cities and countries. Ballistic missiles were launched towards Western Europe and another towards the American continent. Air defenses were unable to intercept them, reaching their targets in less than 20 minutes. New York City was completely destroyed by a single intercontinental missile carrying just 12 nuclear warheads. Another attack made with a missile that was able to reach London in just 10 minutes, erasing the city from the map. Huge destruction took over, and it was possible to see a huge crater left by the impact of the missile, and a huge black cloud covered the skies, leaving the environment radioactive. After the destruction of two of the most important cities, the attacks continued, and both were proud of the destruction caused. The president of Russia decided to end his invasion of Ukraine, completely destroyed part of the cities of Ukraine and its resistance, conquering Kiev and Donetsk, making Russia a new empire. Many lives were lost during the attacks. Such numbers of victims could not be calculated, but it is estimated to be the same number of inhabitants of each city. NATO and other alliances formed, joined together to retaliate against Russia and North Korea after the destruction and conquest of Kiev and Donetsk, and several requests for help from the Ukrainian president. NATO called a global emergency meeting calling all its partners together via video conference. Germany was the first to enter the battlefield with its Fokker 30K fighters, covering the skies with the power of its engines. The United States decided to join by sea, sending a huge number of ships, USS Enterprise and a Boeing C-17 Defender with nuclear warheads that will be transported to the war. Turkey called its army that went towards Russia by land. The United Kingdom sent a set of fighters of a large military force, such as the Tornado GR4 and the Typhoon FGR4. Fighters that reach a speed compared to the level of sound flew over the skies, supporting the Boeing C-17 Defender that went towards Belarus, a great ally of the enemy forces. Starting a huge war in the capital Minsk, where Belarus troops and 100,000 Russian soldiers would be ready to intercede the NATO troops in the first battlefront. Belarus had a huge arsenal of missiles, which were fired at the USS Enterprise, which counterattacked with 200 missiles, causing destruction everywhere. Support coming from the United Kingdom destroyed several troops on the ground, thus giving enormous support to the ships. Belarusian troops needed to recover as they were at a disadvantage in relation to firepower in the skies. Calling for air support. Then K-40s were sent to the battlefield, planes with large engines and carrying warheads of great destruction, thus putting the Fokkers at a disadvantage due to their camouflage and speed. At first, Fokkers and Typhoons seemed to have an advantage against the K-40s until they started losing planes and were at a numerical disadvantage. The K-40s matched the speed of the British fighters, which created a huge problem for the British pilots, who had speed as their greatest weapon. Several K-40s began to take to the skies, starting a huge battle at high speed. Only explosions were heard in the distance by the troops on the ground. Belarus gained the advantage by sending more troops to the front line, launching several missiles at the ships, leaving a huge number of casualties. Several Fokkers were destroyed, putting NATO troops in a dangerous situation. But when everything seemed lost, huge explosions were heard in the air, leaving everything frozen for seconds. Only huge explosions were seen in the sky. The troops on the ship received information via radio. German fighters arrived on the battlefield. Do not attack. Cease air fire. After destroying Babruisk, the troops headed towards Minsk, the capital of Belarus. Several bridges were destroyed with the aim of blocking the advance of the American army. Nuclear warheads were launched to completely destroy the city of Babruisk, without success. The army managed to get out before the destruction.